I want to talk about Matthew chapter 7 verse 4. And in it Jesus is saying, "If you hear these words of mine and doeth them, you are like a man who built his house upon a rock. And when the rains come, and the waters come, and the floods come, and I would like to say the tsunami comes, your house will stand. And if you build your house upon sand, when the waters come, and the rains come, and the floods come, and the tsunami come, it shall fall." Let's look at these words of Jesus and understand what he is saying. He said, first of all, if you hear these words of mine. And what are the words of Jesus Christ? It's the word of God. And it has to do with the Beatitudes, the changes he come to make, those who will enter into the kingdom of heaven, those who won't enter into the kingdom of heaven, and those who will be thrown out of the kingdom of heaven, and also the parables of the kingdom of heaven, and his predictions about the apocalypse that will come and the doom and gloom that was to descend upon mankind, the revelations. Now, Jesus was telling us that we should build our house upon this rock of the Word of God. Now, if we grasp the Word of God and understand it, we would not build our house upon money, land, house, jewelry, and people, mother, father, husband, wife, son, daughter. For he said further down, if you love your mother, father, husband, wife, son, daughter, house, land, money, property, and jewelry more than you love me, you are not worthy of me. And to be worthy of Jesus Christ is to overcome all adversities. So he is saying you must build your house upon the Word of God. And that is the rock upon which your house must be built and stand. And your house is your life, and your entire life. And if you build your house upon this rock, nothing will cause it to fall. It will withstand all the persecutions, all the trials, all the tribulations, all the wickedness in the world, all the cares in the world, and riches, the deceitfulness of riches. But if you now do the opposite and ignore the Word of God and build your house upon what? Mother, father, husband, wife, family, son, daughter, house, land, money, property, jewelry, fame and fortune, and position and posture, that house will fall whenever adversities come. So what he's saying to us is that you must learn the Word of God and build your house, your life, on the Word of God. Understand the recipe. Understand the philosophy. And this recipe has nothing to do with whether you are good or bad, wicked, because it's a recipe that you can use. Anybody can use it. Remember what, if a criminal has a good recipe to make a sponge cake, and he uses that recipe, do you think the sponge cake will come out bad? No. If he uses the recipe correctly, the sponge cake will come out beautiful, even though he is a criminal. But that doesn't mean that he understands the kingdom of heaven. That doesn't mean that he knows the word of God. That doesn't mean that he is seeking the kingdom of heaven. He just has the recipe. But when he uses the recipe over and over and over, and instead of making a sponge cake, he makes a better life for himself, he will certainly see that he doesn't have to be a criminal to acquire the things in life, and the Word of God brings him everything that he wants, and he will obviously change. And when he changes, he will be, so to speak, born again, and he will be a new man.